What car that you've worked on or you own tells the greatest story?
I think that definitely going back to the Murcielago, the Lamborghini Murcielago was the car where we rebuilt every single thing on it. Engine.
How did it come to you? Like
the car,
in the way of what was the extent of the damage?
So the car was, that's a funny one because the car was from a company which does like those track experience days.
Yeah.
So the cars get hammered, like they get hammered, and this Murcielago apparently had the engine went on it, or it had a rattly chain or something, and of course it's been battered because all it's done is miles around a track. No one knew the mileage of it because the clocks had broken, like the clocks had broken, so they don't know how many miles it's done because they kept driving it without the speedometer
And this is the
working.
manual Murcielago.
Manual Murcielago.
That was given on track day experiences.
Yeah. What the
Sacrilege.
I mean, look, you're going to look in 20 years at this and be like, it's like someone saying a Mura SV was given on track experiences.
That's it. And you imagine these lads are like grinding the gears on them and all sorts. Apparently it had a problem, got taken off the road. A lot of the mechanics at the track experience place, they come and go. And this car's been taken apart. One of the mechanics there took it apart. He apparently took it on himself to try and rebuild it, rebuilt this engine, didn't start at the end. And then they've just gone, no one wants the Murcielago to drive anymore. Everyone wants to drive the Huracan or the Gallardo. So that's got pushed to the side. In 7 years, the car sat there and dust was all over it. And then the engine was in pieces because people were trying to find what was the problem with it when they built it. Eventually, I got a phone call from the track experience place to say, I've got a Murcielago. Are you interested in the car? Again, it's another one of these opportunities. That was my dream car. Like, that's a car that I wanted, like back in the day. I used to think that is, the doors go up, it's got a V12 and it shifts manually. Like, I want that car. And it was one of them, same as a Mark McCann moment of like, don't matter what they said about it, I was going to buy it. Like, he told me it was a complete car. It wasn't a complete car, but it
was a complete something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was just boxes of bits, and it was like they told me that, oh, it's a complete car. If there's anything missing, give us a ring and we'll find it in the back. And there was loads and loads of bits missing, and never gave me them to them. And I'd never rebuilt an engine before ever either. And I was just taking on like a V12 as like the first one I'd done. And my dad's built loads of engines, and I rang him. I knew he retired, and said, "Oh, do you fancy helping me?" If he doesn't want to be on camera, he doesn't want to be on camera. But at this point, he wasn't talking on camera or anything like that. He was just helping in the background. And me and my dad are building this engine up for the video, and then he starts to learn a bit more about what I do because he didn't really have an idea of like how I was earning money for it at all. And then the fact that we built that up together, and then we started it the first turn of the key, and it starts up, it fires up. We've gone on a road trip afterwards, and then like that car, we both seen how bad it was at the start and how good it was at the end, and that was the first. Like, you can never replicate the first one that they've done. Like, we do loads together now, like, but you can never replicate that first one. And then that car is like a whole different story. And then from then on, my dad's been with me for all of the other builds, and now people like him more than me on the channel. You know, like, everyone's just like, I just want to see your dad. I just want that's literally it. So like, and
we're here for Mr. Armstrong.
Yeah, that is literally it. They just want to watch my dad on the channel, and like now he's like, before we couldn't leave him alone to work on a car because he'd fix the car and then come out to Matt and go, "Car's done, I'll see you later." Matt's like, "We didn't film
content."
No
content.
Yeah, you know, like
It's too fucking good.
He still does it a bit now. He'll go out and he'll do something and be like, "We didn't film it." I'm like, you do know how all of us get paid, right? Like, we have to film. Like, we don't charge a customer at the end of the day. Like, we have to put it out, and he'll be out there like fixing. He's getting it now though, and then like he speaks on camera well now, and like, he'll make jokes, and like, people love him. So like, and that start was from the Murcielago. So like, that car is always, like, it doesn't matter what that car's worth.
That's the last one to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one out of all of them, you'd keep that.
Yeah,
one.
never. Like, I wouldn't get rid of. I wouldn't get rid of it at all. No way. Like, it's everything about it was from that build that we did it in, and it was in the old workshop as well. It was like freezing cold, and like, yeah, wet floor and everything. But it was wicked. Like we somehow managed to do it, and
How long
that
did
was
that
the start
take?
of it. I think we were probably on it a year.
Wow.
Yeah, like parts of the Murcielago were hard to get. They're even harder to get now, but yeah, it did take a long time. But then the videos were different then as well. People were a bit more patient. Like they're a bit more, I'll watch a video of you maybe putting the heads on top of the engine for one video, and then the next video was putting the wheels on or something like that. Now, people are so hacked on this retention thing that they want to see the whole car built in one video. So it's just escalated to that point now. So we couldn't do that many videos on a car anymore. We have to get them done fast because people want to see it done quick. They don't have the attention span they used to.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Yeah, it has. And the hardest car you've ever worked on?
Do you know, it's weird. That 296 over in the background over there has been really difficult, surprisingly. It's like you think it would be easy.
I seen the crash, bad crash.
Yeah, a really bad crash. But all these newer cars have been so difficult because it's frustrating because it's never a mechanical fault. It's all electrical issues which we can't solve ourselves unless you've got the main dealer stuff, but that's exactly how they want you to do it. They don't want anyone plugging into it and doing their own thing. That's the difficult thing about it. But yeah, I'd say the Ferraris and the newer hybrid stuffs are a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, this conversation has not ended. So click here for more exclusive, wild and crazy car content.